This is Eric from Ember. You're watching Aftershocks TV.
All right, so let's go. We got one more here, Chris.
Right.
We'll get to before we wrap up this round of segments after shock. Now, this one, I gotta be really careful.
Okay.
Of course, because of all the sensitive people out there.
All right.
All right. Now, this has to do with. Well, let's just break it down. Okay, as we know, right? We got a lot of identities in music. In society and music and metal, all right?
Okay.
Now we've talked about this off the air, and I've talked, this is I think this is a common topic, but no one really wants to talk about it because it's a sensitive thing, and if you're to get canceled and be accused of being a sexist or whatever you want.
Okay.
Now we've seen an influx, right? A female, not really, I would say even female musicians in metal and rock, but vocalists. Right?
Yeah, there's a lot
over the
them.
last 10, I'd say 15 years, right? There's a fucking you compare that to the 80s and 90s, man. It's not, I mean, it's night and day.
Well, in the 80s you had Doro and Lita.
I know. That's it.
That's it.
I know. Yes, or every country had their, right? You had the Doro, Lita, you had Lee Aaron. Yeah, I mean, you had every country had their big female metal, artist. And look, as we said, we are fans of female-fronted bands.
Of course.
I do like female vocals. There's a bunch of bands that we like, right? We've talked about it. We've interviewed them, whatever, right? So we're not like listen. And we know people that don't.
Oh yeah,
I know a lot of people that are like, one person in particular.
Not gonna listen to a chick band.
Yeah, and then one guy that we all love and talk about dearly. He did not like female vocals. I won't say his name. You can draw your own conclusion. He did not like female vocals in metal. All right. So, and it's obviously there's this whole thing now, there was the Grammys with, that whole with Courtney from Spirit Box and the whole poppy thing or whatever, right? But we also see what we're doing is we're also seeing female vocalists getting nominated for big things like that, right? So I don't think there should be any problem of people saying, oh, there's not enough women in metal. I mean, I think that's bullshit. Anyone who's coming with that, stop it.
Yeah,
there's been plenty of representation of women. All right. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of label. People go out of their way to either put female, vocalists or female fronted bands or whatever on their bills, on their touring, whatever, just for that reason alone, which I don't like. I think they should be on your tour because they're good musicians, not just because they're female, but we know that doesn't work that way. But anyway, so I've talked with people, and we've talked some things about. Are we at a point in time now where it's overrepresentation of female vocalists, or let's put it this way: is the female audience being placated to too much overall, and is it hurting metal because of it?
Yes.
What do you think?
Yes.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I'm fine with it. I'm actually a big fan of female vocals or female anything. I'm a fan of like Nita Strauss or Sophie Lloyd or whatever.
Sure.
I'm fine with all of it.
Absolutely.
But don't you dare tell me then on the other side of it that I'm a sexist if I say I don't like it. And that's where it dilutes.
Bingo.
Because if I don't like Volbeat, I'm just throwing any name out there. There's half of the people in metal do not like Volbeat. I think that's fair. Half do, half don't. They don't like the guy's voice. Nobody comes at you and says, "Well, you're just sexist because you don't like his voice." But if you say the same fucking thing about Ginger, then all of a sudden you're a goddamn sexist.
Yep.
I brought up Sophie Lloyd only, and I'm gonna bring this clip up. I want to play this for you because I asked her. Now, I don't know if you know anything about Sophie Lloyd or not, but
I know she is. Yeah, of course.
She is a goddamn 20 on a 10 scale.
She's your new goddess, rock goddess.
Yeah, she is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Very beautiful. Girl. Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful girl. Amazing guitar player too. Or probably first, but she's also hot. And I literally asked her yesterday, I said, I'm not even supposed to notice that you're hot. but you play the game with it. You know, what's the deal? And I'll be interested to hear your answer since we're talking about this. And I have
Bring it
this
up.
handy.
Sure.
Because I literally said it to her point blank. I was like,
obviously with you, I mean, you know this as well as I do. You are a very attractive person. And I'm not saying that to get the blush or any of that. I'm just saying it because it's real. And you play, but I mean, you play to it. I mean, obviously the photos and stuff are sexy and that's part of your thing. It's also at a time when that's not supposed to be part of your thing. You know, it's at the time, you know, obviously here in the States, the Me Too and, you know, and people aren't supposed to even I'm not even supposed to notice that. I'm supposed to only notice that you play guitar. But let's be real. You know,
everyone knows.
Now that's about as clear as I could put it, don't you think?
Absolutely. Okay.
Now listen to her answer because she dips into an area we hate, but then I think she comes out of it good. So listen to her answer.
This is it. Like, that's the thing. It's no secret that when I post a video and the thumbnail has my cleavage in it, I know that's going to get more views than the one that doesn't. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I'm aware of that. People can play dumb and just say like, what? And no, I don't know. But I know. But the thing is what, like, men have been profiting off of women and women's bodies in rock specifically for years. You know, Motley Crue, for example. I love Motley Crue. No hate to them. But, you know, their whole, you know, the girls things, like, they've been profiting off women's bodies being sexy and being awesome. And it's okay. Like, obviously, respectfully, but women are beautiful. They're amazing creatures, you know. Boobs are awesome. We love boobs. We love bums. Like, we love, like, bodies. Like, they're,
right.
I don't know. You know, and obviously you've got you know, there's a way to do it where you're being respectful and you're not being weird or creepy about it, obviously. But men have profited off that for so long, and I think, you know, it's time for women to profit off it a little bit and, like, kind of be like, yeah, we can do this too, but this time we're getting the money from it.
Sure.
You know? Like, we're getting that power rather than, you know, them getting the power. And I think that's a cool movement that's kind of happening. It's just like, it's also, when you're performing, it's like, it's a performance, it's a show, and I love experimenting with different kind of outfits and stuff, like different cool fashion choices and everything, just to make things look cool. You know, you don't want to I don't want to be wearing something on stage that I'm just wearing down to the supermarket.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want to wear something cool and new and something that's going to add to the performance a little bit. And it's, yeah, women are sexy and it's cool. You know?
Obvious.
So there you go. So but it brings up all the points, though.
Totally.
You know, it literally is, I'm not allowed to say that.
Well, and the key word she said there, the two words, the best thing, it's okay.
Yes.
And it is okay. It's okay. Listen, I mean, like she said, it goes hand in hand, dude. I mean, this isn't something new where it's like you said, the fact that you asked your point blank, right? You're up there playing guitar. You're dressed all, I'm not supposed to look at that, right? I'm just supposed to sit there and watch you play guitar. No, they don't dress. I'm really glad to hear that. Honestly, that was fantastic, to be honest with you. Thanks for putting that clip up, because it goes perfect with this segment. And that's exactly it. I mean, it's okay. Because listen, like she said, look, exactly. Look at back in the 80s, all right? Yeah, when you watch the girls video, look, well, guys, man, you're gonna look, you're gonna think, you're gonna feel, you're gonna all that. It's a natural thing. And I like the fact that she said, for one, it's okay. And this is gonna be my point, because it's exactly it, right? Look, this you know, like I said, with females being, listen, I want to, if a female's up there, look, two things. Yes, if they're attractive and maybe, you know, just a decent musician, that helps like she said, performance, right?
Yes.
Now, if she's a great musician and maybe not the most attractive, well, it's the musicianship that we're going, wow, that's fucking amazing. Like, there's this one lady, she's a blues guitarist. Her name's like Joanne O'Connor, I think, or something. I just saw her, like, found her one time on Instagram or something. And she's an amazing blues guitarist. Not an attractive woman, but an amazing blues guitarist. And it's like, yeah, I was watching her play the guitar. I wasn't looking at her because she's a great guitarist. But this whole like we've got to get a woman in here just because it's a female, or I got a band. You know, I've had all these bands with all men. You know, I need to have a band with a female in it. You know, just so I can make everyone happy. You know, it's like I ain't gonna lie. Look, even the film I'm doing, you know, I want to do another one, and for a half a second, I thought to myself, well, yeah, maybe I should get a female in it. I'm like, no, wait, just if there is one, and if it's meant to be,
one
the
that
right
makes
fit,
sense.
it makes sense. I'll do it, but I'm not going to get it as a token thing. And by doing all this token thing, it does dilute it. Now, one of the things I want to say too, right? You go back to like you said, you brought up the 80s, right? You only had Lita Ford and whatever, right? Well, here's the difference too. Like I'll even go before that, right? The first female rocker, right, that a lot of us were like, yeah, about was Joan Jett, right? I loved Joan Jett as a kid, in the 80s. I like Joan Jett.
Sure.
Okay. Listen, it wasn't because I thought she was hot, because I was listening to too when I was even, into girls at the time. I was a little kid, right?
Sure.
What did I like about her? I liked about her because she was one of the guys.
She was like she was like just that. She was just in a band.
She was rock and metal's always been mostly
Pat Benatar,
dudes.
same thing.
Pat Benatar, great example too. Exactly, right? She was one. They were gruff. They were unique.
Yeah.
They were rock. Like they had that spirit, and you could sense it in it. When they say, it wasn't like I thought Pat Benatar was attractive and stuff, of course, but like not to the point where I was like, damn, she's smoking hot. No, I liked her songs. She had a good voice.
Yeah.
Great
songs and
good songs. And it was catchy. Joan Jett, the same thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't this whole like, so my thing is back then women, like the women in the Motley Crue videos, like Sophie Lloyd was talking about, they just wanted to be a part of it and be included. Be equal and included, right? I don't want to be just this whatever. I want to be. Let me get up there and show you. I got some chops, and I want to hang out with the guys. I like hanging out with the guys. I don't want to hang out with these women over here. They're always talking shit about it. I want to hang out with the dudes.
Yeah,
right. And guys were fine with that. They wanted the women to come in and be like that. But now the difference is, unfortunately, it's just like with the spirit. The reason why I brought up Spirit Box and the Courtney the Plant and stuff was like everything's about. Well, we're representing women. Look, women have been represented.
Yeah.
Let's start with this, because it's not about being part of it and being included. Now it's about being bigger and better and empowering. It's different.
Well, make your fucking choice. If you want to be about women and girl power and all that, then don't fucking get mad at me if I don't.
Well, exactly.
Don't you want to promote girl power? I'm all for that. I'm friendly with Mariah from Plush. Yeah. And on her record, they just put out a live record last week, and right in the middle of it, she does a rant about girl power. And I'm just like, okay,
she's young. She's also young.
So should I leave the show? Should I leave the show? That's always where I get. You either want to be in one breath, and this is where I always get pissed off and lost in this discussion. In one breath, you want to be treated equal. In the other breath, I can't criticize you like I would everybody else.
Exactly, that's the point. Exactly.
And I'm not going to play that game. Quite honestly, I can think that you're hot and talented and not combine one to the other.
Yeah, exactly.
I just have that. Somehow I have that capability. And I think most people do. And I think the only time it gets brought up is when these chicks come out to do girl power this and girl power. It's like, fuck you and your girl power.
Let's be honest, too. I don't need to be whatever, but, this is whatever. Most of the females that are coming out saying the girl power stuff, they're not really the real attractive ones.
Yeah.
A lot of times. No. I mean, look at Sophie Lloyd right there. She's all about, I'm all about it. I like dressing up. Of course I'm not. It's part of the performance. And women are beautiful. And guys, look at us. This is nothing new. You're not going to change that. That's just part of human nature. I mean, it's like you said, look, for a little while, okay, they wanted to keep, incorporate. I get, okay, for a little while, sure. Okay. Not a lot of females. Okay. Come on in. Again, you want to be included, whatever. But again, you can't. It's just like anything. I don't want to get, because it'll start getting into other political things, discussions. But it's like anything. You don't just put something there because you got to represent something. You want to get the right person. If you want to represent it, get the right musician, get the right singer. Let's be honest. Okay, the female vocals these days. Okay, You tell me, okay? To me, because like I was saying, what I loved about Pat Benatar and Joan Jett, because they were gruff. They were
Sure.
and they had attitude when they sang too. It wasn't about hitting notes. Joan Jett doesn't have this great voice.
No.
It was about the catchiness and her attitude. Okay, and also going in and out of songs, like using different. When I listen to a lot of these modern metal, female vocals, all it's about is hitting the notes, man. That's it, hitting notes. Okay, there's only half. The only ones I can think of that really had that old spirit, like a Joan Jett type, is like a Lizzie Hale. She's got a great voice because it's all over the place. Some of it's high and it's needed. Some of it's rah. Some of it's angry. Some of it's passion. Whatever it is. Okay, she's to me, I mean, there's only a couple. Like we were talking about the one today you hit me up about, Erica Stoltz from Sanhedrin. I've always said she's a great vocalist.
Great singer.
You got to see her live. She's amazing. Again, because she can go in and out of that. She's not just about hitting notes. She's got about 3 or 4 different inflections in her voice that hit certain parts of the song when it's called for. A lot of these female vocals are just coming out. They're one-trick ponies, man.
Yeah.
Just hitting notes.
And a lot of them are now just doing the barking.
And the extreme stuff, it's just more trying to sound like angry men, but you can't.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, there's not many female vocals that could sound like a guy does, like the raw. You can't. You don't have the estrogen isn't testosterone. It's not coming out the same.
And I don't hate any. See, and that's the whole thing either. Is like I'll point to one that I do really enjoy, which is Alyssa from Arch Enemy.
Okay.
I enjoy her stuff probably better than the Angela stuff, to be honest. And I know that puts me in a very small minority because I know everybody loves the Angela stuff. I like the Alyssa stuff better. All that being said, am I a sexist that I also find her hot? She's playing the game. She's out there dressed hot.
Like you said, she's not like Sophie Lloyd just said.
Yeah.
She's not out there wearing like she's walking into the fucking, supermarket.
Yeah.
I mean, dressed in sweatpants and whatever. No.
Yeah.
You don't. I mean, like I said, it's.
And I always like to go the other way too, because this part of the argument never gets brought up. When chicks who are notorious for fucking rock stars on a whim, are they bad? Are they bad for judging those rock star guys because they just wanted to bang them?
Yeah, they think they're hot, right? Like,
they think they're hot.
Absolutely, exactly.
How is that any different?
Yeah.
The difference is they're actually making the play where we're just going, she's hot, and so what?
I know.
I don't know. I get really frustrated in this argument because it's so two-faced. And that's what bugs me the most about it is either I can judge you or get the fuck out of the business, but don't come in dressing like Sophie Lloyd does in fucking, low cut tops with big tits hanging out and fucking being hot. And then tell me I'm not supposed to notice that. Don't do it because I'm a guy and I'm going to notice that.
Well, you're not supposed to say anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, too bad.
Exactly. Listen, I mean, look at all these, like you said, some of these, like a George Lynch. You think there were females that were going, oh, I just love the way he plays the guitar. No, they want to bang him. You said, yeah. I mean, so it's like, and what the funny thing is, dude, see, look at this discussion. What's the one thing we're not even talking about here? The music.
No, not at all.
Because this is what happens. If you just throw listen, it's like anything. I mean, we can say the same thing about having to represent, other races and stuff. Again, listen, there's a band, okay, that's anything other than white, and if they kick ass, well, hell yeah, they're going to be represented. I mean, no one's even looking at that shit. I don't know anybody that's like, I mean. This is not, look, I get it. Maybe back in the 80s and 70s, probably different. We can understand that. These day and age, don't even give me this shit.
Yeah, it's over. That whole argument is over.
It's done.
We've had a female vice president. We've had a black president. I'm done with any judgments on any sex, creed, or color. Fuck off.
No, exactly. It's
I'm
done.
judging you on what you do. And if you do it well, good. You brought up Sanhedrin. Sanhedrin's new record is fucking great.
It's great.
I don't care if it's a guy singing, a girl playing guitar, a girl singing, and a guy playing a guitar. The fucking record rocks. Period.
Exactly. That's it. And listen, if there is a female vocalist, like you said, that happens to be up there kicking ass, but we also someone mentions like, hey, she's pretty good looking too.
Cool.
Yeah. And you think she's not happy about that? That's what's going to get people coming back.
Yes.
All right. Did
Just-
people? Do you think people wanted to go see these women in the 80s? Did they want to go see someone like? Do you see what's his face, Wolfie? All the women flocking to him. No, because he's not attractive.
Right.
And he's not really a great guitar player. If he was great, okay, and if you were into music, you go see him for that.
Mhm.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, it's my thing is and what's happening just quickly is I think the other part of this too is forget about the female musicians now is bands or just labels and everybody trying to placate to a female audience, meaning trying to get females more into metal and rock. Look, it's never been it's always been predominantly male.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that. There's no sociological reason for that. It's just in general, a lot of females, they're not really into like over masculine type of freaking stuff in general.
Yeah. Well, and the other piece of it is guys. I don't want to go see destruction with a chick.
No, exactly.
I or obituary.
Think she wants to see that? Probably not.
But even if she does, what I'm saying is I don't want that is if I go to an extreme show like that, a heavy show, Sepultura, Soulfly, whatever, I want to act like a guy. I want to have that explosion of
Agreed.
energy and rage and anger and everything that you put out there when you jump in the fucking mosh pit. And I do not want to go to that show. I don't want to be at Slayer and have my chick asking me, hey, do you think we could get a shirt after the... No, leave me alone.
Yeah.
This is why I'm here. I'm here to fucking lose that. I'm
Lose
here
your
to
mind.
guy
Yeah,
out, so
really.
to speak.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, think about it. When you used to mosh, right? I know neither one of us do anymore. All right? I mean, you females, you want to come in this fucking pit? I mean, I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, excuse me.
Yeah, no.
You're in the way. No, you want to fucking lose it, like you said. And then you happen to be in the way, you get cracked in the face, or like it's like these. I mean, a lot of females that would jump off the stage and stay and drive to the crowd, and do this crowd surfing. Of course, these guys are going to start grabbing your ass and your tits. I mean, you're stupid for even thinking they're not going to do that.
Exactly.
I mean, they're not going to sit there and go, oh, let me help you. No, you're talking about drunk, angry guys. Most of them probably don't get a lot of tail to begin with. And here's this chick coming right at them, and they've got their hands right there. They're going to do something stupid. I mean, you're setting yourself up.
Yeah.
I mean, for that stuff.
You really are. And it always was going to happen.
It was always going to happen.
And
my thing is, and if you start placating like they've been doing to attract, like I remember the guy from Shadows Fall. It was the stupidest thing I heard of it. I see these guys do it. He's not the only one. When they started getting big, I remember they got signed to Atlantic. I remember he came out and he's like, yeah, I'd really like to see more females at our shows. Well, dude, then start playing more music that's going to attract females. You're not going to do it with Shadows Fall's music.
Why don't you throw a ballad out there then?
Yeah, exactly.
Brian?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, that was his whole thing. I want to see more females. Like, listen, well, here's the thing. Why would you want to see more females?
Yeah, so you can fuck them.
So exactly, that's what it comes down to. Exactly. Not because you want to see, females singing my songs because it makes you feel good. Give me a break. You want more attention from the females. That's all it is.
Dude, I know these are two very old bands, but I'll just tell you a very true story that I've heard was that, do you remember, and this is old, you may not even remember this, but do you remember the Rush toured twice with Mr. Big?
I do remember that, yes.
Do you know why Rush toured twice with Mr. Big?
I do not know.
Because Mr. Big brought chicks.
Females, yeah.
And Rush didn't. So Rush was more than happy to bring Mr. Big out when they had To Be With You as the number one song in the country. They were thrilled to have an arsenal of chicks at every show. So they brought them. I mean, even think about that musically. Could there be, that's like Slayer and Motley Crue touring together.
I know.
It doesn't make any musical sense. No, it doesn't. But they didn't do it once. They did it twice.
Well, they must have liked what they saw the first time around. They did it again, exactly.
Or they like getting their dick sucked.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Honest.
They saw, I was like, all right, yeah. Oh, man, dude. It's just, like I said, I don't, we don't have to, I guess, continue too much longer on this, but I really do feel that between trying to placate, because again, females in metal, it's not the what do you call it, the target market. You know what I mean? It's not the target. So this whole thing though, and by doing it, forcing it, it's not doing anything but hurting it, in my opinion. Because you're not really. It's like anything, when you're not putting the best of the best up there, the ones that have earned it. The Grammys, forget the Grammy. Who gives a shit about them?
Doesn't mean nothing.
Doesn't mean nothing. But if you look at them, look, a lot of times, what do they do every year? They got to nominate a band that's got a female in there. They got to do it.
Well, I mean, let's just do the real basics. Who's the biggest female metal band?
Well, let's see. If we say that, all females?
Yeah, that's out there touring right now. Who can draw 10,000 people?
10,000?
10,000.
Of an all-female band? I don't think there is one.
Or even with a female singer.
Well, just with the female singing, maybe 10,000. I don't know. I'm saying
that's what I'm saying.
There is none, really.
There's
none. That's I can think of, top of my head.
The biggest ones are what? The
Ginger.
Warning, maybe? Ginger. Even Ginger is probably not.
Hailstorm.
Hailstorm is probably the one.
Like you said, the Spirit. I don't even. Do you even know anyone that likes Spirit Box?
I don't know Spirit Box. No.
I think that's what I'm saying. I think they're absolutely a machine.
They're manufactured.
They're manufactured. There's no doubt in my mind, because they came out of nowhere and they started getting Grammys. I mean, come on.
Yeah. The Warning will do 2,000 or 3,000.
Yeah. I mean, Plush can't. They do a couple hundred, right? If lucky. If that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's again. Then there's a reason for that. And I'm not
because it's not hitting.
No,
that's the reason.
I mean, probably the biggest. I mean, if you think about, Evanescence was huge, right? They could probably still do pretty, just because of the nostalgic piece.
But that's
of it.
Because of their nostalgia.
Yeah, exactly. Not new. It's again, man. It's. I really think the more they keep bringing in this whole identity politics into metal with that, it's going to make, listen, we've seen it in extreme metal story. We talk about hardcore. Like, hardcore's got a lot of females in it, because it's more along the line with punk. You know what I mean? So punk's always had a pretty decent sized female crowd. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Always been kind of balanced. And, but now it's like every hardcore band I see, modern band, it's got a female vocalist. And I'm sorry, look, I'm sorry, it just doesn't work. Not never, but very, very rarely. I
don't want to weed through 30 of them to find the one that works.
The last hardcore vocalist, I think, and maybe you agree with me on this, that I've seen where I'm like, that's a great vocalist for like heavy music as a female, was that the band Matriarchs, that cat singer. She was good. You know what I mean? For like heavy, whatever, I was like, oh, she's got some pipes on her. She really is pretty damn good. That works. If you get someone like her, okay, that works. But it's not going to work for everybody.
But how many bands do you got to listen to get to that?
Well, that's my thing. Exactly. There's a million of those bands, and then none of them standing out. There's nobody who's like if you just took 5, metal, hardcore bands that had female vocalists, you put them on right now. I guarantee you, neither one of us would know who the fuck it is. Because we wouldn't know, because they don't stand out.
No,
the voice doesn't stand out. When I listen to Erica from St. Hege, when I listen to Lizzie Hale, I know it's them. I know, I'm like, oh, that's so and so.
Right.
And just like male vocals. I'm not saying this that, but male vocals either. They're a dime a dozen too. But again, just don't force it. And I think it's not good for metal that we keep placating to a female audience. It's not good.
I totally agree.
All right. Well, I think we're about done, man. Anything else you want to say after that?
No, I think I've said it all.
I think we've said it all. We've been done. All right. We will see everyone next time on Aftershocks TV. Peace.
I had an interest in music always.
It's always kind of been around me some way, shape, or form.
5 minutes sitting on a drum set, man, change your life.
This is the same black guitar that Marty McFly plays in Back to the Future.
I love the feeling I get in front of the freaking full stack here, just the vibration or something to it.
I'm lucky because I do have a little bit of a tap into the Fu Manchu lore, into the Nebula lore.
In order to keep things going, you kind of have to like start playing the game a little bit, you know, like the business game.
Everybody has to get through a day-to-day, and how do you exist and how do you get by?
As far as getting people to commit to bands, it's tough to keep a lot together these days, for sure.
Still sleeping on people's floor, that's still a reality.
Probably also playing with some of the best people I've ever played with. The creative juices don't stop. It just keeps going.
For me, it's just finding a balance of how much time I'm spending with my family versus how much time I'm spending working.
It's this validation that what you're doing actually has merit.
Obviously, we're a little long in the tooth, and we've been doing this for a minute, and now we can kind of do what we want. We don't need a record company. I'll do it myself. I'll do it the way I want to.
Just always be cool. Just be respectful. Those are your people. They're connecting to you on some level, even if they don't look like you.
It's got to happen, you know, else I'll go crazy. Go crazy one way or another, you know. I might as well, you know, not go crazy if I can play music.
Maybe one day I'll have a Porsche, but you know, until that day, I'll drive a Chevy.
There you go.
All right.